and whatever's out there. We are doing something new, something crazy now. And right before lunch, right before we actually going to eat again, we're going to move our body. So please, first, big man, you're going to be my personal assistant. Since you did that already quite bravely a few days ago on the dance floor, right? Yeah, awesome. Okay, so let's stand up. I'll show you how to dance salsa. Yeah. And then you can...
Shouldn't everyone stand up by now and try to follow you?
Yes. Okay. You're going to do it this way, I'll do it this way. So, first of all, we have only 3 steps you need to remember, okay? 3 steps. And they're going to repeat backwards and forwards. So, the male, and I think we're like 99% male right now, right? So, I'm just going to start with them. The male will use the left foot, and the left foot going to do 1 step forward. And then we're just going to go back on the right foot. And the 3rd step is going to be just beside the right foot again. So let's try that again, okay? 3 steps. Forward, backwards, and close. Now that's pretty much it. Okay, let's try again. And forward, backward, close. So, and the same thing we do now backwards, but, okay, that's going to be a little bit difficult. We need to switch the foot. So we're going to now use the right foot and go back. The left one to go forward. And then we close again. And now it should start again. But let's try to back again. So right foot, left foot, and close. Okay, now we can put that together. And left foot forward, right foot backwards, and close. And right foot back, left foot forward, and close. Okay, and now in one movement. And 1, 2, and 3, 5, 6, and 7. I counted 5, 6, and 7 because you have like quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. So I try to show you pretty quick how it's going to be on speed, okay? Quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. So the one closing is always 2 counts, and the others are just 1 count. Let's try it a little bit slower, but not too slow. Okay. And quick, quick, slow, quick, quick, slow. Okay, now grab your partner and let's try it. Let's try it with a partner. Basically, the girl, yeah?
Is that me?
Yeah, I think so. It's just gonna have to like, you don't have to touch, by the way. I mean, you can, but you don't have to. The girl basically does the same thing, but starts like at the second part. So if I do 1, 2, 3, the 5 would be like the 1. Okay, so it's just a little bit offset.
So you're going to do left foot, I'll do right foot.
Right. So, you know, I'm going to do left foot, he's going to go right foot back. So, or watch him, what he's doing. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And 1 again. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6. That's it. So, everybody, try. Get your partner and try to do the basic step. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. Awesome. Where is James? Oh, where's?
He said he wants to learn.
Yeah, probably. Where's Jana?
Jelsa.
Yeah, Lisa, yeah. She's okay, one more time. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. And 1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7. 1, 2, 3, 5. Okay, let's try if Beekman can turn. Okay, let's turn Beekman. Yeah, you're gonna turn.
All right.
On 5.
On 5.
So 1, 2, 3, 5. Oh, okay. I have to assist.
Yeah.
Okay.
All right.
1, 2, 3, 5, 6, 7, and then you start again with 1. Okay. No, yeah? 3 steps. You turn like 1, 2, 3. So, okay, now...
You're in trouble now.
Yeah, now we're in trouble.
There you go.
Okay, guys, join in. Wasn't my idea, by the way. Good that we practice, huh? Yeah, guys, join in. Come on. Thank you very much.
Now you're talking.
No, I'm talking.
Yeah, now it's on.
You wanna go after? You wanna go now? Or is it
1, 2, 3.
You wanna go now? Yeah, just wait for him.
Hey.
Actually, it's better if you put it upside down.
I'm going over like 40 slides in less than 10 minutes. So let's start. I work for KDC. My name is Lubomir Stork. Maybe some of you knows me from IRC support channel. Some of you surely hates me because I'm the original author of Translate Behavior. So if you work with it, yeah, I'm sure you have some rants for me. Well, KDC workflow. Idea is coming from James Watts. He introduced it to you already, I'm sure, on last CakeFest, I think. And what is this about? We were inspired by this Git branching model. Many of you knows it, many of you follows it, many of you maybe changed how it's processed over branches. Here is our article, which is explained, where it is explained in detail. We wrote some blog posts which are going into more details. I highly propose to you go over them and read them. So just quickly, what is this about? We have 4 permanent branches. Develop, where features are added. QA, where our quality assurance goes on. We can then stage, where client reviews our code. It's basically it's first time clients sees what we have done. And master is production. Then we have temporary branches. Future / ticket number. Temporary branch future is made out of develop branch because that's where development goes on. Another temporary branch is issue, which is created out of QA branch. QA person finds an issue, creates temporary branch, of course, ticket for it, and developers goes on. Issue is merged back to QA and propagated downstreams to develop. Then QA, when QA is finished, it goes to stage, client reviews it, then we merge it to master, release tag, and if there is some problem, we create another temporary branch, which is hotfix, made out of master. What is the point with this? We have always good overview of what's going on in development because we work in team. We are distributed over almost all time zones, and it's important for us to have access to every single feature separately. And we have to follow some strategy how to merge it back so every change in code is propagated to proper branch. How is it done? For example, hotfix. We create hotfix branch out of master, make some changes, push to remote, and this is how is hotfix. It is most difficult operation. Hotfix, it needs to be propagated to master and back to stage, back to QA, back to develop. Do you like it? No, this is not how we work. We are not going to type 8 commands just to propagate simple hotfix, which could be, for example, translation change, just single character, and this one is not how we work. So we wrote Git extension for our workflow. Basically, there are just two important commands: start and finish. These are most basic. We create feature, we finish it. We create issue branch, finish it. We create hotfix, finish it. We finish development, it goes to QA. We finish QA, it goes to stage. We finish stage, it goes to master. This is how looks new repository, okay? Just master published to origin. So we will call git wf init. Created is simple default ini file with really simple syntax where basically are defined permanent branches, temporary branches, tags, relations between them. It's simple file you can change, so you don't need to follow our strategy. You don't need to have QA branch. You even don't need to have stage branch. You can develop in develop and master branches with future and hotfix temporary branches. I call it again. It will read configuration file and fix all branches for me. If they exist, no problem. It will recognize them locally or remotely. Doesn't touch your code. Doesn't mess with anything. This is how looks repository after Git workflow init. First important command, start. You have clean repository, clean checkout, nothing is changed, and we are in a permanent branch develop. Git workflow start 1. 1 is ticket number. We can, of course, start temporary branches from anywhere. I don't have to write Git workflow start issue 2 when I'm in QA branch, of course. But I'm in temporary future one, so I have to. Now we are going to finish something. Finish issue number 2. You see where it is propagated. In compare what I have showed to you, that you have to check out branch, merge, push, check out another branch, merge, push. It's exhausting. You will just finish branch you are currently in. You can, of course, finish any temporary branch from any place. You don't have to be in that temporary branch to finish it. It's very easy. This is how we finish development. The develop is permanent branch, so it's not deleted. It is just propagated to the upstream branch. We finish QA. QA branch. Once finished, we create milestone tag out of stage branch. Because when QA is finished, we need to finish milestone, so development of next milestone could start even if we didn't create a release. A release could consist of several milestones, and milestone tags are created out of stage branch. This is how it looks like. Now we will finish stage. When stage is finished, it is published to master branch, and immediately release tag should be created out of master branch. No long typing, no multiple commands, just finish QA and that's it. This is how looks repository after that command. Everything is clean, no temporary branch, and we have these tags. There are other commands which are not so important, like publish. 2 developers, each on the opposite side of Earth, work in one temporary branch. They need to publish changes. Publish in temporary branch is basically just push, pull and push. But these are 2 commands. Why? Update, pull from any branch. I can update even, for example, I will be in develop branch locally, and I want to fetch and update my local checkout of future/1. I can do it. I can do it from everywhere. Git workflow update future 1, 2, 3, 4. Everything is done. Another command is close, and which basically pulls changes, pushes changes, and deletes local branch. It leaves it on remote, but you will have clean checkout. You will maybe see there is no command open. One developer creates temporary branch, pushes it, push it, works on it, publishes changes, and another developer needs to jump in and do some change. There is no open command because there is start. So Git workflow extension recognizes that some temporary branch exists remotely, so it will reuse it, checkouts. Thank you, guys. I hope you enjoyed that.
Hello. Okay, so I'm back up. My name's Justin. I gave a talk a little bit earlier. I'm going to talk about iterators. Has everybody used iterators? If you're using the Cake 3 ORM, Jose can tell you, there are tons of iterators in there, and iterators are super cool. So I wanted to talk about them because they're awesome and they're cool. They basically give you the ability to iterate over pretty much anything that you want to iterate over. There's a bunch of them. They're part of the PHP standard package library, SPL. There's a bunch of different iterators, but I'm going to run through essentially what they are. So, everyone see that? So I've got an example file here, right? Really simple. I want to read in a CSV file. This is a common use case for loadsys. I want to read in a CSV file. I want to iterate over it. I want to make sure and validate stuff, and then throw it into the database and save it if it's actually valid stuff, right? Probably a pretty common use case. So I've got an iterator. I declare it. I pass it stuff. And I basically loop over the iterator, right? I do a for each, and then I do stuff with each row. Okay, so it seems pretty simple, right? Iterator is doing something really cool. It essentially calls these three methods on each. It does a do loop, a do while loop over everything. It calls do iterator next, calls next. It calls iterator accept. This is because I'm using a filter iterator. So accept will validate it and say, well, okay, do I want to accept it or not? And then, which you can't quite see. And then iterator current. So row is going to be equal to iterator current. Make sense? So it's next, accept, current. Basic iterator, basically all it does is there's a little construct method, right? I throw it the file object that I'm reading, the CSV file that I'm reading. And then the accept says, hey, if it's a even row, then throw it out. Else return true. And if we run this real fast, we see we have first row, third row, and the last row, which is 5. There's an iterator. We can also make it a little more complicated. So here's a CSV file iterator that we use in a lot of cases, and it has a bunch of stuff. And part of the accept method in here is it does stuff where it validates and makes sure that you have all the stuff that you're supposed to have. So here's our data CSV file, which has a bunch of data in it. And some of this data is valid and some of this isn't valid, right? So we want to be sure, we want to do a couple things. We want to get the keys out of here, right? Our first row is all of the keys for all of our data. We want to turn it into an actual object to deal with. Well, an array that has keyed indexes rather than ID'd indexes. We want to validate and make sure that we're only having what actually works and that we ignore these empty rows here. So if I swap this out and use my new fancy iterator and get rid of the var dump and rerun that, we get the first, second, the third, and the last record. And the fourth record is ignored because it messes up on the validation, and it also ignores the record that's an empty row. Iterators do a lot of really, really cool stuff, and they are super, super powerful. If you ever find yourself looping over a bunch of stuff and you need to do multiple things with data, or you have to pre-process some set of data before you actually loop over it and insert it into the save, that is a really powerful point at which to use an iterator. So you could imagine that if this was an iterator where you were having the CSV file and you had to import the data, at this point you can now just literally write your model save method and you can save your data and you don't have to worry about checking for validation stuff because you can do your validation in the iterator itself. So anytime that you're needing to do like multiple for each loops over an array or looping over any set of stuff, take a look at iterators. They're going to help you. I'm done.
For those who missed it early in the morning, my name is Mark. I thought I had 5 minutes left this morning, but James cut me off, so there was one thing I was hoping I could cover. I'm going to show that now. Time's up. Okay, I hoped I had a little bit more time for this. Opioid, I already showed it in my presentation. So you all know what it is. I wanted to show a demo of what it can do for you. How do you scroll with a Mac? Okay, like that. Well, here's a list of supported strategies, providers with... let me check a good one. Well, and show you what it is doing. Oh, Justin? Okay.
Sure,
Let's find out about Justin. Well, this is what you get back from the response. And internally, Opioid, you just run the library. And depending on which provider you selected, you get different data, but in the same format. And currently, we are working on the version 1.0, which is in alpha stage, which is mostly done by myself. I started using Opioid a couple of years ago, and I looked at the code, and I hated it. So I said, "Oh, I can help you with this." Instead of just bitching about how bad it is, I refactored it and improved it, and it's still not good. So I hope you all gonna bitch about my code, because it's not that good, but it's a little bit better. So we're gonna release Alpha 2 maybe, or Beta soon, when we all have both of us have a little bit more time. I also wrote a blog post on how to use it, which also includes another authenticate object for CakePHP. Arriving soon. You can see it's written on June 2013. Actually, we did an alpha release in April, but we didn't do anything afterwards. One of the reasons is we don't get a lot of feedback on the 1.0 alpha release, although we had like 2,500 installs through packages this month and 30K overall, I think. So there is people using it. So I would really like to get some feedback on it. Here's some examples. Well, you can composer require it to install it. Then you define your configurations for several strategies like Twitter or Facebook or Google. And you create a new instance, pass the configuration, and then just call ophat run, and the response will be a response object with some preset standardized values like name and some other things. And we also include the raw response in full. So that's a really easy way to authenticate against different social providers. We're currently working on doing one for Azure, Active Directory, but still working on it, so I hope to be able to release that tomorrow. So how can you use this in your CakePHP application? This was written for Cake 2, but most of it is the same for Cake 3. So you put somewhere your configuration, you put up a route for opauth /star. So your URL would look like opauth /Twitter or Facebook or whatever image the user selects to log in with. And then you define the method in your user's controller and you run the application to get a response. Well, you could also use that as a custom authenticate object, basically doing the same thing. And then your login code or your opauth login code would look something like that. We're changing the authenticate object within this method only, and then call login and see if anything happens. Well, that's basically it, and I hope to get some feedback for you. James, got some time? Okay. Thank you.
This is okay. I talk about the data generator for testing CakePHP applications. My name is Kenichiro Kishida. I'm from Tokyo, Japan. My accounts are some Shizuhiko, GitHub, and some SNS. I worked on AWA system management. I see some demonstration Asta icon. Do you know Asta? Asta is a modeling tool. Oh yeah, good. Asta is development Change Vision company. Change Vision is AWA system management is a group company. It's a very nice modeling tool. You try to add free edition exists. Please try UML tools and many modeling tools. Testing you up. In Japanese community, maybe yes is 45%. I believe today's developer 99% testing you up. Of course, you write a test. How to make test data? How can you make test data? Of course, CakePHP support fixture. I think fixture is good. Create test table, each test case. Yes, cool. This is great. And second approach, load changeless test data like master. So, for example, user. This is good. But application grown to huge size, test case become more complex. And test data grow huge. Some page, for example, pagination test data or each test case test data is very huge. And test case is no need all field tested database fields. No need field required for each test case. Fixture is suck. And easy to breakable. Test data is fake. And use data generator. Ruby on Rails data generator as factory girl or fabricator exists. But PHP is major data generator is Faker. Do you know Faker? Using Faker? Oh yeah, just good. Faker is a PHP's fake data generator inspired from Ruby world. But ORM support is proper or doctrine, not much CakePHP. But I developed the Fabricate CakePHP plugin data generator inspired on Fabricator or Factory Girl. For example, API support fabricate, config, create, build, attributes for, define. And helpers method is sequence and traits. For example, easy to use Fabricate create model name and generation number and callback function or array definition. And defining that like alias. This model name is published one is a default value defined post parameters, each using same result. So recommended using publish post class post is publish one. Fabricate create publish post is a published value is one. And association, user has three posts, easy to create, user post, word association post three. This create so easy. And I defined object can use association model. And last helper sequence is that word sequence title. This sequence name is each other sequence numbers. The word title is that callback function is that this is sequence, each sequence from one, return title $1, result following title 1, title 2, title 3, title 4. And what's trait? Trait is define. Trait publish 1. This use the word trait published. Same means publish 1, author 5, traits, multiple, can use multiple traits. And these are inside work is array merge. But if you clearly all configuration fabricate clear. My English so worst. Please GitHub read me clearly. because these are sentence copy from factory girl or fabricator is very clearly. Thank you.
Unmute. Ooh, look at that. And gone. I'll just, yeah, I could just do that. Right, guys, look, I'm doing this now because I've got to leave first thing tomorrow morning. I'm one of the sponsors. My name's Wes. I'm here to just sort of give you guys a couple of maybe interesting things. I've basically got five, oops, there we go. 5 key things I want to talk to you guys about pretty quickly. The first thing is, and I'll talk about our company a little bit, but we're building out our developer team. We're working with contractors. We're looking for great CakePHP people to work with, particularly people who have some good senior level architecture experience. I'll talk a little bit, give you a bit of a case study of sort of CakePHP project in the wild. Might be interesting to some people. We're doing some stuff with the event systems to help us keep all of our plugins. We've got a very plugin architecture focused platform. It's a SaaS platform. We use events to actually decouple things and keep things nice. We're also doing some interesting stuff with Ajax and Pusher. I will talk about the secret to getting free beer from me tonight at some point. And we're also looking at open sourcing some of the components of our system, and I'd like some info from you guys as to what we should actually focus on open sourcing first so we can do a decent job of it and get something out that's useful. And so to that extent, I've created a Facebook post on the CakePHP main Facebook group, a little bit of a poll, so if you guys can log in there and vote on it, that would be great when I get to the end. And I'll just see if I can get that to stick a little bit better this time. Not really. This is where I live. This is where we work. People who are interested in coming to visiting Australia, hanging out, coming to work. You know, this is top is Bondi Beach, about 15 minutes from our office, which is right down there in the bottom. That's our office space. It's a pretty fun place. If anyone hasn't been to Australia or wants to come, there's not a lot of them in Bondi. There's a few sharks, but you know, there's a lot of people in the water, and as long as you're, you know, not, yeah. How do we actually get this to not cut off the top of everything? Do I have to just drag this down or something? Or is this just life with Yosemite? Our platforms I don't know whether it's big or small. I'm actually curious as to how it sits in there, but it's got about 60 models. We're using quite a few community plugins, so thank you guys. Several of you are sitting out here. I definitely owe you guys all beers. We've also built a couple that support our system as well. Well, now I've totally stuffed it. It's not actually even in sync. What our system is an education technology platform, and what we do is pull out the plug and start over again, because that's what you do. Oh, well, at least it advances. What we do is we solve the problem around experiential education, which is things like internships, business projects, where students are looking for a way to actually apply learning skills. And it's a tricky problem to solve because it's usually a three-party problem. You've got students, you've got employers, you've got educators, and they've got a lot of mismatched expectations about what they're trying to do. It's quite time-consuming to put one of these programs together. Give you an example. At a lot of universities we work with, they'll have teams of 5, 10 people trying to manage 50 students through internships each semester. It's terribly cost inefficient. So we've built a SaaS platform that helps everyone sort of stay in sync and manages some quality assurance on the delivery. Key things it does is it uses project management principles, so it does what we call project learning. So assumes that every internship's like a project and helps them through it. It's focused on experiential learning, which is a little different, a lot of collaboration in there, and it's around helping people collaborate and build these types of experiences together. We're a spin-off from Deloitte Consulting, actually. Years ago, I was running the innovation program there, and this was one of the concepts in it. It's grown in its user base. We've got sort of reasonably high concurrency because university students are spending a lot of time on the platform. It's been growing pretty rapidly. Around 2013, we started moving into a SaaS platform model where we said, right, we want to give all the educators the ability to log into this thing and use our tools to make the sort of programs. That's when we took the CakePHP hack that we had, which was 1.3, let's just try and make some administrative tools that make our life easier, and turned it into something in 2.5x that's a bit more of a fully fledged SaaS platform, and I'll show you a little bit about what that looks like. But as I said, we came out of Deloitte. We're working with some professional service companies. We've got quite a few corporates that are involved. We're doing some interesting programs with it, and I'm happy to talk to anyone about this. But to give you an idea of the thing, basically it uses the concepts of project management to help students try and track their way through what an internship might be. So it's a very confusing thing for people. You're starting off at a company, you got to learn what the company does. The employer may or may not know. So we've tried to create a system which lets them go through and see, okay, here's some videos, here's some tests, here's some quizzes, here's some stuff I have to work on alone, here's stuff I work on as a team. There's a lot of team-based stuff where the team involves the students and the employers. So we have some collaboration tools built in there, sort of open source, crowdsourcing type stuff that's built in. We have some team workspace functionality with some analytics built in there. Some of the chat stuff is done with Pusher, which I'll talk about in a bit. So just to talk a little bit about one of our plugins, which is our achievement plugin. So what we want to be able to do is when a student goes through one of these pathways and watches some videos, takes some assessments, we want to be able to dynamically update their progress in real time. We want to be able to see when a student has done something, because we might want to unlock something later on. We might want to say, okay, well, you completed all of these things, now we'll give you some special content tools or whatever. So we need a way to basically track what was going on, and we needed a way to track stuff that we didn't know that we might not know we need in the future. So I don't want to have to predefine all these achievements ahead of time. I want to be able to sort of get a log that's generically usable, and if I define something new in the future, I can go back and I can create a new one. So we're using Cake's Event Manager. We've got a couple of different listeners, and basically it's pretty straightforward. When, for example, someone does an assessment, there's a save, we fire off the achievement model, the event, something's listening to it, It works on it. So it's a really great way for us to keep the different parts of our system separate. So we've got an assessment plugin which looks at all the tests and all the things that students are doing that way. We've got a separate achievement plugin. We've got something that manages the collaboration. So none of these things have to actually talk to each other directly with method calls. They use the event system for that. The other thing we do that's kind of fun is we use, is anyone using Pusher or PubNub or any of those types of things in any of their apps? A couple people here and there. These are pretty cool third-party ways to do real-time messaging. So you want to basically send out a notification from your system to all the users that might be on various mobile devices, logged in. So what we do is there's pretty straightforward APIs up there. You create a new pusher, you set up a channel, and then what we've got in our basically in our after filter, so that's cut off at the top, but that's basically an app controller after filter. So at the end of the request cycle, we've got a couple of session variables up there, which you can't see, which is a little bit annoying. But effectively what we're doing is we're storing, using this notify and inject, we're storing stuff in a session variable. At the end of after filter, we're going through and we're actually looping through it and we're shoving it out to the pusher API. What that means is, this is two functionalities. We have notify, gives us Growler style pop-up notifications, and that's useful for us with AJAX calls. So we've got something that's happened with an AJAX request. We want something to happen in the browser. So for example, we want to show that someone's completed a lesson, and that lesson submission happened through an AJAX thing. So it allows us to basically send a message back to the browser without a refresh. So the pusher script in the browser is constantly listening. And inject is really kind of a massive hack, but it's quite fun, which allows us to just send JSON-P back into the browser at any point in time, which we're using to do a couple of sort of clever, rapid, agile ways of doing things. This is the example I was talking about. So, you go through here, you click on something like this, it opens up, you might do an assessment, you might do something else. It updates this turns green, that progress bar gets calculated without a refresh. So this whole platform basically is built in Cake, and it's been quite fun doing it. Some of the plugins that we're looking at might be interesting as open source that you guys might find useful or not, and this is where I'm interested in getting your feedback, is our assessment system. So this is a sort of quiz survey builder, but it's got a couple extra little things. It's built on Bootstrap, so if you're using Bootstrap, it kind of fits in quite nicely. It's also designed for stuff like moderation, where somebody has to submit an assignment and they do a self-assessment, they upload some files. There's somebody else who has to log in and go through and review it. There's some peer assessment in there where there's video types of submissions where you can upload a video and then other peers in the class can go and rate it and give comments on it. So that's one part of our system. There's the achievement system I talked about, which we're extending to work with some of the open badges and other types of things at the time. There's the collaboration platform, which supports things like crowdsourcing of ideas. So that's one of the ways we use it. We also use it as a way for teams to actually do revision-controlled collaborative document writing. So that's another plugin we've got. We've got the real-time plugin, which is where we have all the code that actually deals with things like Pusher and PubNub for actually creating scripts you can inject into your page in real time. We've done a bit with Shaw's full calendar event thing, but we've added quite a bit in terms of being able to manage scheduling events, having things go out to Outlook sync and whatnot. And then the big one that we're working on is learning tools interoperability, which is what allows all the different education technology systems that are getting built right now to talk to each other. And there's a pretty massive trend that's happening around education technology, which is, it used to be people created these giant monolithic platforms like Blackboard and Moodle that did everything for everyone. But where everyone's moving towards are smaller platforms that do one or two specific things really well, like these guys do grade books really well, these guys do assessments really well, and they all talk to each other through a standard called Learning Tools Interoperability, which has been evolving over time. And this is kind of interesting and important to know for, I guess, this community, because there's going to be a massive explosion over the next decade in education tools that are going to get built. A lot of them, as we start building new education tools, we're learning a lot about new pedagogies, new ways to teach. A lot of what we do, no one's done before. No one's actually tried to do this type of experiential education in a systematic way. We have more data on how experiential education actually works than most researchers have been able to amass in a decade, just from a couple of years. So off the back of this, people are actually learning quite a bit about how you teach people, particularly in an applied context. And likewise, with all these new technologies that are coming out, people are coming up with new ways to do things like certifications, new ways to work with kids. And you need a real agile ability to approach these things, because you're going to start off and try something. It might work, it might not work. And platforms like Cake are amazing. And that's why we ended up using Cake. Was we didn't know what we needed. We had some ideas. We wanted to get something out the door really quickly. We didn't need it to be perfect. Cake was something we could use to get that done pretty quickly, but it was also something we knew we could evolve with. So as our code got bigger, as things got more sophisticated, we went through some refactoring cycles. And as you know, one of the things that made me the most excited about being here was seeing the amount of people that showed up, the liveliness, and also the direction things are moving with 3.0, because as someone that's trying to make a call as to, do we stick with Cake? Do we move to something else? Do we, where do we go from here? That was a question before. There's no question now. It's quite obvious that Cake has actually the momentum and the direction to support something like this, to support large scale. So we're pretty excited about that, and I'm very excited about figuring out how we get from our 2.5 to 3 in the next year, and take advantage of a lot of the excellent work on the ORM and everything that's been done. So that's some just sort of I don't know if it's interesting or not to you guys to get a view of what's happening in the industry. Now, if you're interested in working in the education technology sector, if you're interested in moving to a place like Australia, if you're even contracting with us, we're happy to talk. I've seen some pretty amazing talent here over the last couple days, and so if you want to chat with me, I'll be here. Unfortunately, I got to fly out first thing tomorrow, so I'll be up as long as I can tonight. If you can come up with a sentence that uses the words budgie and cake, then I'll buy you a beer. If you come up with more than one sentence, I can buy you more than one beer. And past that, yeah, I don't want to keep you guys from food. I don't know if it's ready or not, but I'm happy to take any questions, and I'm here to chat. Thank you all, and thank you all for everything you've put into making this platform.